The Dallas Stars got a lot of business done last week. Mason Marchment was traded to Seattle. Matt Duchene extended for 4 more years. Mavrik Bourke is staying in Dallas, and plenty more to break down next.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Did I not, or did I tell you everything was going to break while I was on vacation last week? And boy, did it ever. The Dallas Stars got busy. They made some moves, including Mason Marchment being traded to Seattle. Matt Duchene was extended. Mavrik Bourque and Nils Lundkvist were re-signed as well. And I'm here to give my take on all of it on a Monday edition of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. A pleasure to be back with you, Stars fans. So let's dive right into things. We'll be going in chronological order. So first, Mason Marchment being traded to the Seattle Kraken for a couple of draft picks. And this was a move I think we were all waiting for. It was not a matter of if, but a matter of when. The Stars have to acquire cap space. They need as much as possible in order to make the moves they want to this offseason, which clearly were re-signing Matt Duchene, Mavrik Bourque, and some others who we'll get to, potentially some other moves down the line, like even signing Jason Robertson to a long-term deal. The full details of the deal were the Dallas Stars traded Mason Marchment to the Seattle Kraken for a 2025 fourth-round pick and a 2026 third-round pick. The fourth-round pick was actually originally Dallas's. They gave it to New York in 2022. The Kraken acquired it from the Rangers for Capo Caco. It is now back in the hands of the Dallas Stars. And you may be thinking the compensation is a bit underwhelming, but you also have to take into consideration Mason Marchment was going into the final year of a $4.5 million contract, AAV, final year of his 4-year contract. Also, he had a 10-team no trade clause. So the Stars had to find a willing partner to take Mason Marchment off their hands. Also, Seattle does know the Stars are in a bit of cap trouble, so you're not going to get a very high return for Mason Marchment. But the Stars were able to find a partner for this deal, and they got it done. Credit to them. This is the right move. The Stars have to acquire cap space, and one of the ways you can do that is trading off some of your pieces. And Mason Marchment was a perfect candidate. Y'all know I've always had a soft spot for Marchment. I think the Stars need some more players like Mason Marchment, at least similar archetypes, in order to be successful in the postseason, in order to get over the hump. But right now, when you sign Mikko Rantanen to a $12 million deal at the trade deadline and you want to sign some others, you're going to have to make some moves here and there that are tough decisions. And credit to Jim Nils for finding a trade partner for Marchment. We went over some mock trades a few weeks ago with Mason Marchment involved, and I don't believe we ever chose Seattle in any of those, but he has been dealt to the Kraken. We did a report card on Marchment just last week. Be sure to check that out as well. 62 regular season games, 22 goals and 47 points, 1 goal and 4 assists in 18 Stanley Cup playoff games this year. And maybe some of the patience for his antics and other things wore thin on the front office. But man, he had a really, really solid year in Dallas. He was easily on pace to break career highs in all the offensive categories until he took that puck to the face in early December. Maybe it was late December, and he was still rather productive. He was also on one of the more successful lines here in Dallas during his time with Matt Duchene and Tyler Seguin, but took a lot of penalties that hurt his club, and the Stars were willing to move off of him. But I've always liked Marchment, and I wish him nothing but the best. But it also begs the question, what other moves are out there for the Stars to acquire some cap space? There are some reports that supposedly, I'm a bit baffled by this, but Matt Dumba even has a market. So are the Stars going to be able to offload Matt Dumba or Ilya Lyubushkin? It seems that Ilya Lyubushkin is going to stay in Dallas next season. His cap hit is $3.25 million. Dumba is heading into the final year of a 2-year, $3.75 million contract. Dumba, I guess he's 30 years of age. He's right-handed. I've said this before. His better days are behind him, but it looks like maybe there is a market for him. I will say, I think you're going to get less back from Matt Dumba than you are Mason Marchment, but you never know. Maybe you're able to get another draft pick back. Look, the Stars are going to have their hands tied with cap space. So if they're able to get some draft capital back, it would make sense to offload Dumba, and you get the cap space in return. The Stars currently, after all the moves they have made, have a current cap space of $2,755,000, basically a bit north of that. And by the way, they do not have a 2025 first round pick or second round pick or a 2026 first round pick. If the Stars can address that with a Matt Dumba or Ilya Lyubushkin, that would be great. I don't think you're going to get that type of return, but you never know what willing partners are able to give you. But to conclude on Mason Marchment, it was the right move by Dallas. They need to move off some guys in order to acquire some pieces. Also, if the Stars want to retool their defense a bit, this is a way to do that. They need to go out and make some splashes. This was just the first domino to fall. They need to move off a guy like Matt Dumba. They really need to move off a guy like even Ilya Lyubushkin. But I will say this as well. If the market isn't there, the market isn't there. It's not always worth it just to get rid of a guy just for the sake of getting worth of someone. But in the context of what Dallas is trying to do, they have some important contracts to take care of, and they had to move off of Marchment. And yes, the compensation wasn't incredible by any means, but they get a couple of draft picks back, and they're going to need some of those moving forward. And maybe the Marchment deal wasn't perfect the moment he inked that contract, but I think you can take in some of the outside factors. His father had passed away, had a really, really rough first season, and y'all know me, I was backing him from the start. I was not willing to give up on him. I think people were very, very, very angry about the contract that he signed after that first year, but started to improve year two, had a really, really solid year three. Playoffs kind of stank. The playoffs stunk for a lot of individuals, but maybe some patience wore thin. And also, it just came to a point where I don't know if the Stars really had a choice in a lot of ways. They have to move off of guys like this if they want to be a competitive team moving forward. Now, you also have to factor in it was Jake Ottinger's best friend on the team, or at least one of his best friends. Remember, Ty Dellandrea, one of Jake Ottinger's better friends, was dealt a year ago, I believe, on the same day. And now Mason Marchment is gone. So no more Marchment and Otter hugs at the end of games. I think that also is something you have to take into account in the locker room. I think Marchment was loved. I think he's a player you would rather have on your team than have to play against. I think he's in the similar mold of Brad Marchand, right? You never want to play against those type of players, but you love it when they're on your team because he was really, really impactful here in Dallas. And as I said, I think the Stars, they need more players like him. If they can find similar archetypes, maybe with a bit more of offensive upside, I think the Stars are going to be in good shape. Mason Marchment can play a physical, heavy style of game, but maybe you can find it in a package that doesn't take as many penalties, and you don't have to deal with maybe some of the other antics that Mason Marchment had during his time here in Dallas. But of course, we wish him nothing but the best in Seattle. And that was one of the first moves the Stars made last week in order to acquire some cap space. Now, on to the next one, a huge one. Matt Duchene extended for 4 more years? You joking? We'll get into that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Wonderful Pistachios are so tasty. I've been talking about it lately. I went to the grocery store, grabbed me a bag. My goodness, pistachios are incredible, especially Wonderful Pistachios. They give you all those essential proteins. All 9 essential amino acids are packed in Wonderful Pistachios. It's a great grab and go snack when you're on the move between meetings, dropping off the kids this summer, you're running around. You just need a healthy, nutritious snack. That's where Wonderful Pistachios comes in. It's like snack meditation when you crack open that shell and eat that pistachio. Get snacking, get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Well, Jim Nils and the Dallas Stars have done it again. They got Matt Duchene to re-sign in the Lone Star State. He signs a 4-year, $18 million contract with a cap hit of $4.5 million per season. His contract will expire at the end of the 2028-29 season, making him an unrestricted free agent. And I have to be honest, the first time I saw this scrolling through Twitter, I'm thinking, what are the Dallas Stars doing? Why are they re-signing Matt Duchene to a 4-year extension at 34 years of age? And really, I think this dilemma goes back to a lot of the conversations I've had with some of my guests, like Gavin Spittle and Ryan Chambers. I don't know where to stand with Matt Duchene. I can value his regular season success. He was a point per game last season. He had 30 goals. Like, that is incredible at his age. He led the Dallas Stars in points this past season, but I can't look away at the lack of playoff success. A combined 3 goals and 12 points in 37 playoff games. Why do you want to sign yourself up for more of that moving forward as he ages? But it's not an awful deal by any stretch of the imagination. I just feel kind of meh about it. It's not a fantastic deal. It's not a horrific deal either. It's just kind of right in the middle. And I also can't ignore he has been impactful here in Dallas. I'm sure he's a big part of that locker room. I also believe he wanted to stay in Dallas. And I think by the looks of this contract, Jim Nils and the Stars wanted to keep him here. So we'll see how it plays out. I guess. Again, I think this is just one domino, just like the Mason Marchment trade, just one domino falling as we move along this offseason. The Stars still have a lot of moves to make. This is just one of many they have to do in order to make this team better, in order to improve this team, to try to get them over the hump. And Matt Duchene has had a huge impact during his time here in Dallas. I don't think he wanted to get up and move again. And look, it's not an awful deal cap hit wise at $4.5 million. And you can look at some of the buyout potential. His buyout in the final year of his deal is a bit interesting. It spreads out over 2 seasons, but you can go to Puckpedia, by the way, and actually do this. You can click on his buyout calculator. So if you go to 2028, 29, when he'd be entering his final year of his contract, the total buyout cost would be $2 million $2.4 million, and the buyouts are applied evenly over 2 years. So it would be an annual buyout cost of $1.2 million over 2 years if the Stars were to buy him out in 2028, 29. I just think this is a deal we can really grade and really have strong opinions about, maybe at the end of the offseason or maybe a couple of years down the line, because the Stars have a lot more moves to make. But Duchene is staying in Dallas. And again, the dilemma for me is his regular season value and then the postseason performances. The Stars don't need him to be a point per game during the regular season, or maybe they do, but that's not massively what they're asking from him. They need him to score goals and generate offense come Stanley Cup playoff time. And you can look at some of the advanced numbers. He does a lot of good things. He generates some offense. He was maybe a bit unlucky this past postseason with some of his offense in general, but he still has a lot of value. And I think he is also a big factor in the locker room. So I'm curious to see how it plays out. He does have a no movement clause the first 2 years of the 4-year deal, and then he has a modified no trade clause in the final 2 years. It's a 5-team trade to list, so not a no trade list, a 5-team trade to list. So that will be rather intriguing to see if the Stars are willing to move off of him. And I think it's a good deal for that reason for Dallas. They have a potential to move off of Duchene a couple of years from now, or buy him out if they deem so. So there's some opportunity for Dallas to get the production from Matt Duchene that we've seen over the past few seasons, and an opportunity to move off of him a few years down the line if things do not go to plan accordingly. But again, I feel like I don't have a strong opinion on Dutchie. I'm sitting on the fence in this one. It will be really intriguing to discuss this with Spittle, discuss this with Ryan Chambers of Starcastic Remarks here in the next few weeks to hear their opinion on it. But I'll say this. Look, Duchene's 34 years of age. During his career, he's never been productive, has never really thrived in a position where he has to be the guy. And in Dallas, he doesn't have to be the guy, but he also needs to produce come playoff time. Again, 12 total points in 37 playoff games the past couple seasons. That's just not going to get the job done. He has to become a factor. Joe Pavelski was rather productive in the playoffs in his few seasons here in Dallas, right? He was rather productive. I know it took a nosedive in his final season, but at that point, Joe was 38 years old, 39. He was touching 40. At some point, Father Time was going to catch up with him. Unfortunately, it came at that point. But another 4 years of Dutchie. And look, I like Matt Duchene, but at first I'm just like, oh my goodness, here we go again. Are we going to run it back, right? That's where I get a bit concerned. Are we just doing this all over again, and we're going into next season feeling the same way about the Stars as we did last year? That's where I get concerned, but we still have 3-4 months to figure that all out. What other moves are the Stars going to make? Hopefully they continue to improve this roster, and we feel a lot better about where the Stars are in October than we do now at this point on June 23rd. So yes, Matt Duchene sticking around in Dallas, and able to keep him here in the Lone Star State. So here we go, Dutchie. Let's continue to be productive in the regular season, but let's pump up that postseason production. And I think all Stars fans will sign off on that for sure. Alrighty, a couple other moves the Stars made. Mavrik Bourke was re-signed. So was Nils Lundkvist. Let's break that down in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you can get on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. FanDuel has a way to track all your favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. It's easy to use, it's fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. Whether you're placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet ride into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it feel like you're a part of the action. New to FanDuel? It's a great time to get in on the action. New customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app or visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. So the Dallas Stars finished off last week by completing a few more important pieces of business, one of which included the re-signing of Mavrik Bourke to a one-year $950,000 contract, which I think surprised a lot of people. Number one, because Mavrik Bourke took a hometown discount. He definitely took less than what I think many expected he would sign for. He was a popular offer sheet candidate, so the Stars were able to keep that off the table. And plus, I think maybe outside of Mikael Granlund, this was going to be one of the more difficult signings for the Stars. I think Granlund is just going to be priced out, or the Stars are going to be priced out of Mikael Granlund, but they were able to keep Mavrik Bourke, and Mavrik Bourke is going to be with the Dallas Stars next season, which I'm thrilled about. I've been on the record. I want Mavrik Bourke here in Dallas, and I want to continue to see him grow. He's just too young. He's too young to give up on, and I think he can be an impactful player for the Stars moving forward. And it was big for him to get a season under his belt. He was just a rookie, 25 points in 73 games. And I think the expectations were lofty. I'm guilty of this. I think I set the bar too high just because over the last 5 years, it feels like the Stars haven't missed on a prospect. And we envisioned him to just kind of fill into that top six, or at least fill in with Wyatt Johnston and Jamie Benn and just be so perfect. And it really never fully clicked, but he did get some meaningful time under his belt. He was, relegated to the fourth line for the majority of the season. But more importantly, I thought he progressed and got better as the season moved along. He got a couple of playoff games under his belt as well. And I think he's really going to improve. And I'm excited to see what role he takes on next season. Maybe he does get a more expanded role and he can grow into that. Also, the Stars can surround him with some talent. They can surround him with some other players and just see where it goes from there. But we also maybe should have expected this in a lot of ways. We talked about this last offseason. It takes usually a year for Mavrik Bourke to almost get comfortable with his surroundings, get comfortable with a new league. That was the same case in the AHL. Didn't have an incredible rookie season, and then boom, the next year, him and Logan Stankoven just went bonkers, right? Mavrik Bourke, the AHL MVP, just went insane, and now he got a year under his belt at the National Hockey League level, and I'm excited to see his improvement and the possible elevation of his game next season. And I'm just really, really happy the Stars were able to get this done, and they got it done at a really, really strong cap hit. Like, this is a phenomenal deal for the Stars. They need cheap talent up front, and Mavrik Bourke certainly qualifies as that, although he was cheap last year as well on his rookie deal. But I think this is a great deal for both, right? It gives Bourke a chance to prove it and get a bigger contract next season. He gets to stay in Dallas. It's comfortable, see where he fits in with this roster. The Stars can benefit from that. And we'll see how Mavrik Bourke continues to grow next season. But I thought this was just a great deal all around. This is A plus from the Dallas Stars. Another move the Stars were able to get done. Another young player, defenseman Nils Lundkvist. Boy, we've seemed to forget about him since he got hurt in February. I would have loved to see where he would have fit in on the Stars decor come playoff time. Would he have actually played like meaningful minutes, not just like 4 or 5 shifts a game in the Stanley Cup playoffs? Because he showed a lot of growth this past season as a defender. He started taking less penalties. He was much stronger defensively. I thought he was really strong along the wall. Just his body awareness, his body positioning. He was more comfortable with the puck as well. He didn't generate a ton of offense, just 5 points in 39 games. I think that's maybe the next step in his game. Can he start to chip in a bit more offensively? The Stars as a decor weren't particularly amazing offensively, but I think Nils Lundkvist can give the Stars a bit of that. We all know he's really mobile. Like, skating's one of his best attributes. Like, he can pick him up, put him down. Like, he can use that to his advantage. We want to see more of that from Nils Lundkvist. And they signed him to a 1-year, $1.25 million contract. It's the same contract he signed a season ago, and he's got another chance to kind of prove it. It also now gives the Stars 7 defensemen signed, or at least under contract. They have 7 defensemen under contract, including Miro, Lindell, Harley, Dumba, Lyubushkin, Lundkvist, and now Lian Bichsel. So we'll see if the Stars are able to offload somebody like Matt Dumba. As I stated earlier, there seems to be a market for him, but I think right now the Stars have 7 solid defensemen, right? I think you're pretty happy with your top 3. Maybe I don't think you could say top 4. It's the 5th and 6th defensemen that you're a bit concerned about. And I think that's where Dallas has to go address. Of course, you would love to go out and find a top 4 defenseman. The Stars can do that, would be great. But other than that, if you're able to kind of shore up the depth defensively, the Stars need to do that. You can never have enough solid defensive pieces on the depth chart. So there you go. Lundkvist was done as well. And I'm also excited to see his growth as a player. I thought he took a big leap this past season. If he can do that again, Stars are going to be in a really, really good place. And it looks like maybe he could be paired alongside Lian Bichsel. Like, that's sort of a David Goliath sort of pairing. Got the smaller Lundkvist and Lian Bichsel. Maybe they can be a solid pairing. We'll see how it all shakes out come October. But 2 really, I think, solid re-signings for Dallas with Bourque and Lundkvist. You get the cheap hometown discount with Bourque. You bring Lundkvist back just to see what he can do and improve on. And, those are really solid pieces. And again, I just think these are preliminary moves in a lot of ways for Dallas. There's going to be a lot more moves to be made. And we're going to have to view some of these signings, trades, in a different light. I think we'll view them in a different light come October than we do now. But some really busy stuff for the Stars last week. They made some moves, and we'll see where they go from here. But some exciting stuff all around, just to see the moves coming in, and now we get some trades, we get some player acquisition. Like, it's all getting exciting this time of year in the NHL. We got the draft upcoming too. A lot of good stuff on the horizon. So we'll be here to break it down on Locked On Stars. No more vacation plans for the rest of the summer. That could change, but for right now, we'll be here to break it all down on Locked On Stars. Want to thank you for joining us on today's episode of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments below about the Marchment trade, Duchene extension. Are you concerned about any of these moves? What are you concerned about moving forward? Love to hear your thoughts as well. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell as well. Never miss an episode. Thank you, as always, for the love and support on all the videos. Have a great rest of your Monday, Stars fans, and we'll see you tomorrow.